thought we were going punting on the Thames.
I don't see any river.
That's what I'm talking about.
You end up getting wet feet and blisters punting on the Thames. What'd you think of Tony Simmons?
Competition.
You show $1 million profit this year. That's a record for the London branch.
He talked to me about wanting to come back to Boston.
He'll probably run for chairman when Alan Lloyd retires.
When will that be?
Soon.
You'd get my vote.
Too bad you're not on the board. This is called spooning on a blanket.
Just my luck. I traveled 3,000 miles to do a little punting, and I end up with a spooner. Wait! Don't move!
What is it?
We've been in England for 2 weeks, and this is the first time we've been under the same blanket.
We can dance right here in the
Not really. Newspaper says the new Richland is going to be bigger than ever, according to manager and new owner, Abel Rosnowski. Why don't they call you Baron?
A lot of people don't believe it, I guess.
I believed it even when you were Władek. Remember?
Yes. Zosiu, I want to show you something. But I am changing whole entrance and lobby. There will be shops along this side. Elegant people, of course.
Yeah, of course. No riffraff, please.
No. And I have called Jerzy. You remember?
George.
I am bringing him here to work with me. I need to have old friends around me.
Abel? Abel, dear, what a lovely surprise.
Hello.
No, please sit.
Zofia, this is Miss Leroy, her father.
Miss Leroy? Why, Abel, I'm sure the young lady wouldn't mind if you call me Melanie. What's this? Ah, yes, I see by the papers that you're going to rebuild the Richland. Daddy would like that.
I already started.
Abel, when you're down at the Dallas Richland, you just have to give me a call. You never got to see our house. You must stay with me. Kind of, home away from home, you know?
I don't think Zofia would appreciate homes away from home. We are getting married. We come to America together. We are both immigrants from Poland.
Well, anyway, I'm glad you're going to have another try at making something out of the Richland Group.
You know what? Not Richland Group anymore. I am calling it Baron Hotels.
Very impressive.
I thought you would like it.
Gary, I'm famished. Let's go.
You asked me to marry you.
That is the way it sounded to me.
Do you love me, Władek?
I thought it was decided on the boat. When we traded our virginities. I will make you a good life. And this is the first. There will be others. Many others. Who knows how many?
Turn on the ignition.
It's on. It's such a sweet little car to do this to us.
It knows we're Americans.
Well, since we've already established at tea time that we're not married, and since they only have one room in the inn, what would you suggest we do at bedtime?
Well, I suggest we get married.
Because the car won't run.
Well, we're two healthy Americans stranded by an obstinate English car outside a romantic English inn with only one available bed. What else can we do between tea time and bedtime?
William, the Episcopal Church requires all kinds of stipulations and waiting periods.
You didn't spot the notice pinned up inside the door, did you?
What notice?
Well, according to the notice, the most pressing requirement of the parish church is a new roof to the amount of 150 pounds.
Are you suggesting bribery?
I'll bet my entire banking career that 150 pounds is exactly today's going rate for a special dispensation.
Seems a lot. Am I worth it?
Every shingle.
Are you all right?
That thing.
It's called a geezer.
A what?
Geezer.
How do you know that?
The lady who brought breakfast said so.
Well, whatever it is, it's not working.
Shall I call and have someone come and fix it?
Oh. No. When I think of what might not have happened if a car had started. I mean, he only married me because the thing wouldn't go.
Whatever makes you think I turned on the ignition?
Darren, this has to be the high point of your life. It is only just starting, Daddy. Stick with me. You enjoyed the ride.
This way, sir. Smile. Thank you.
You say, thank you, thank you. This is the proudest day of my life, and I am glad it is in Chicago.
Aren't you proud, Major?
If you told me right-hand man had to wear a tie, I'd never take this job.
First of all, let me give credit where credit is due. The reason this new hotel, the Chicago Baron, rose from the ashes as fast as it did is due in large part to my friend and your honorable alderman, David Osborne.
Well done.
And let me add, if my guess is right, and I have never bet on loser yet, we will be calling Alderman Osborne Congressman Osborne after next election. I have another reason to be proud today, a very personal one. Please. Yes. This is my wife, Zofia. And this is future hotelier. And you are all invited to christening. I want you to know that the Chicago Baron is only first of many like it. One day, wherever you travel, around the country, around the world, you will always be at home in a Baron hotel. And when you check in, tell them you were here on the day it all began. Tell them you are a friend of Abel Rosnowski, the Baron himself.
So where'd you lose your dog?
Out the war.
All right, Matthew, that's enough. Let's go.
Hey.
Hey, shove off, mister.
Just go away. Come on, let's go home. Come on.
Are there any women at your place?
Yeah, Patty.
Hey.
Why, Matthew? Tell me why. Up until a year ago, you were one of the finest men I ever knew. What's the matter?
Hey, do me a favor, will you? Find him another place to flop.
Come on.
Florentyna, czego żądasz od Kościoła Bożego? Wiary. Wiara, co ci daje?
Żywot wieczny.
Florentyna, ego te baptizo in nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.
Amen.
Jaka piękna cześć. You are not disappointed it's not a boy?
How could I be? When she's so beautiful. Oh.
In the vote for the new chairman, Simmons, Kane, Simmons, Simmons, Kane, Simmons, Simmons, Simmons.
Well, gentlemen, my last official act as chairman of the Kane Cabot Bank, I give you my successor, Tony Simmons. Congratulations, Tony.
Thank you. Thank all of you.
Congratulations, Tony.
I think I'm as surprised as you are.
Yeah.
William, I appreciate you not using your name as stock to sway the vote. Thank you.
Well, perhaps I should have. No, I think we made a good choice. You'll have my full support. You voted for Simmons, didn't you?
Yes.
I wish you'd voted for me. Well, I wish some of the others had voted for me, too. Still too young, too unorthodox in my thinking, right?
In part, but there's another problem. It hurts me to have to say this to you, William. But they don't understand why you won't admit there's something seriously wrong with Matthew. Unless something can be done about his drinking, there's going to be a demand for his resignation.
If Matthew goes, I go.
I admire your loyalty, but it won't help him.
Your friend Matthew is a very, very sick man, William.
Well, it must be help. I mean, I've heard some of these retreats they have for alcoholism can be quite successful.
I'm afraid alcohol has been his retreat, William. Matthew is suffering from Hodgkin's disease. Apparently, he's known he's had it for over a year now. It's an inflammation and enlargement of the lymph nodes.
There must be some treatment, a specialist you can recommend.
Matthew has already seen the best men in America and one in Switzerland. I can only confirm their prognosis. There is no cure. None at all. Matthew has, at the best, maybe 3 months to live.
Why didn't he tell me?
He didn't even tell his father. Well, then, if you need me, I'll let myself out.
You know what the biggest problem is with being a great athlete, like I am? You know, the biggest problem is seeing your tennis game go all to hell. How did you, Yankees?
Anyone could beat you if you didn't make such bad line calls.
Oh, you found me out.
Uh-huh.
Oh. I'm gonna hate leaving you two. If you've got one friend, you're lucky. I've got two. I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world.
Yes, sir.
Lorcha, wait for your father.
I got you. You thought you'd get away from me, didn't you?
You listen to your father now. New York is a very big city.
Yes, Mama.
Your papa is going to build a big, new hotel just for you. What do you think of that? Ah.
Remember, now, you must listen to your
Call
father.
me. Let me know how things are going here.
What is the matter? You do not trust me? It is not like it is the first time you have been away.
If I couldn't count on you. Okay. Let's go.
Come with us, Mama.
Next time.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
On the train.
Hurry, hurry.
I think I have a very big rival here, Jay.
A father and a daughter, and such a daughter you have given him. You cannot blame him.
I meant the hotels.
Ah, hell.
Abel Rosnovsky and my stepfather. Just exactly what is the connection?
Well, what I could find out, and this is mostly rumor rather than hard facts, Rosnovsky put up most of the money and a lot of it to get David Osborne elected to Congress. The relationship goes back to when Osborne was on the Chicago City Council.
Osborne and Rosnovsky. You know, one thing they do have in common is me. Your father knows the history. Osborne hates my guts for having exposed him, and the Baron is convinced that I caused the death of his best friend.
Look, William, I know all that, but there's a more immediate connection, self-interest. Osborne's been helping the Baron along the way up. Rezoning of building sites for the hotels, juice with local politicians, you know, that sort of thing.
And he was paid off, believe me.
Well, if so, he didn't report it. All he shows on his returns is additional income, is the fee he receives as a member of the Baron Hotel's board of directors. The congressman might be guilty of tax evasion.
Exactly. Thaddeus, I want you to keep at this. I'd like a full report, say, each quarter. Or sooner, if you find anything that seems urgent, you will.
William, it happened so long ago.
Kate, I have reason to be concerned.
Yes.
It's New York, sir. The Lester residence.
Thaddeus, thanks for coming by, especially the weekend. We'll be in touch.
Charles Lester?
We've been dreading the call. He's been going downhill since Matthew died. Does William have reason to be concerned?
Nothing we can prove.
How bad is it?
They don't expect him to last the night.
Listen to me, William.
Don't try to talk, just rest.
In my will, I have named you to succeed me as chairman of Lester's. Chairman, in my will.
All right, Mr. Lester, not now.
You must listen. Very important, William. I want you to be chairman.
Should have been Matthews.
Yours. Always knew that, didn't you? You all were.
Sorry, Susan.
Very elegant. It's a big occasion. On bardzo ważny człowiek. Very important man.
Ja wiem, Czojczu, wiem. I know.
I remember when he was manager of only one hotel.
I wish it could still be that way.
Zosiu! Zosiu! I thought you would be ready. Plane is not going to wait, you know.
I didn't realize the time.
I will ask driver to get the bus.
I just have a few last things to pack. I do not want to go.
What do you think people will say if you are not there for opening of the hotel?
They will not even notice.
I will. You don't like dress? I will buy you another.
It is not a dress.
So sure. Wait till you see the penthouse. It is like being on top of the world. You look out at night, and all New York is at your feet.
I think I would be a little uncomfortable on top of New York.
You are my wife. I want you to be there. Why not?
Because you do not need me there, Abel.
Of course I do.
No, not any longer. I think it is better if we are separated.
Separated? What are you talking about?
How long since we spent time together alone? How long since we have made love? You are married to your hotels. To people like David Osborne, who make you feel big and important. Too important for me to keep up with. And when I try, I always feel like I am failing you.
Everything seemed so perfect. If you were so unhappy, why you...
I kept hoping it would change.
I admit I should spend more time at home. I'm sorry I missed dinners. And whatever. But hotels are my dreams. And they are our future. You always want to stay here. What is it you are so afraid of?
That I can never be what you want me to be. And you can never be what I want. Not any longer. So isn't it better if we separated? Please, Abel. Try to understand.
Zosiu, come with me.
Marvelous dinner, Peter. I can't thank you enough. And for your support.
My honor, William. Really? First to entertain the next chairman of Leicester's.
Don't think there'll be any trouble there.
Well, I wouldn't say that exactly. Now, we have 3 or 4 dyed-in-the-wool New Yorkers on the board who think Boston bankers operate out of a shoebox.
Well, I realize Charles Lester's will isn't legally binding. The board can vote any way they want.
That's right. But I think I can swing it for you. Just give me a few days to fly your credentials. After all, I am a vice chairman of the bank, not to mention the stock I own. You just go on back home. Leave it to me. I'll call you and let you know how it's going.
Do you think I should talk to Ted Leach myself?
Leach has had his sights set on the chairmanship for a long time. He's going to fight you anyway. Talking to him won't change that.
It's been a pleasure meeting you, Mrs. Parfit. Thank you again. There are two reasons I'm talking to you, Mr. Leach. First, Peter Parfit advised against it.
What's the second reason?
I think Charles Lester was very fond of you.
Charlie Lester was one hell of a man.
Yes, he was.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Kane. In the first place, I would give my right arm up to here to be chairman of Lester's. Second, I wouldn't think of going against Charlie Lester's wishes now or ever. Have we got that straight?
We've got that straight.
If you go back to Boston, you might as well stay there. Parfit is rounding up votes for himself for Thursday's meeting.
You know, he told me it wasn't going to be till next Monday.
That's so on Monday he can call and tell you he was elected chairman last Thursday.
Mr. Leach, correct me if I'm wrong, but according to the bylaws, an emergency meeting of the board can be called with 24 hours' notice. As one of the board's two vice chairmen, you have the authority to call such a meeting, am I right?
Never been done before. There's always a first time.
Will you?
Provided you know exactly what you're going to do with that meeting.
Gentlemen, I asked Mr. Leach to call this emergency meeting, and I want to thank you all coming at such short notice. You're all aware that Charles Lester stipulated in his will that I should become the next chairman of this bank. Of course, I realize, as you do, that such a bequest is not legally binding. But when Peter Parfit here assured me he would support me for the chairmanship, I was overwhelmed.
I invited Mr. Kane to dinner before a group of you gentlemen persuaded me to toss my hat into the ring.
Which came as a great surprise, I'm sure.
Excuse me. I take exception to Mr. Kane's insinuation that there's some sort of conspiracy afoot here. The only conspiracy I sense is in the suddenness with which this meeting was called. The same sort of impulsive act performed by Charles Lester in bequeathing the chairmanship symbolically to an outsider through some vague sense of loyalty to the friend of his dead son.
I was with Mr. Lester to the last, and he didn't appear to be a bit vague.
And I was with Mr. Lester for 22 years. The last 6 as vice chairman. Gentlemen, since we have been summoned to this election in haste, I can only ask that we now act with the calm reason that our stockholders expect of us. I am confident they will applaud your vote for experience and continuity over the whim of a beloved but distraught and dying man.
I resent that, Mr. Parfit. He was a great man. A man of vision. A man not given to whims. Now, as for being an outsider, as Mr. Parfit calls me, Charles Lester and I shared a lot of plans and dreams over the years. In fact, I even had the audacity to tell him that I could see the day when the Lester Bank merged with Cain Cabot to create one of the country's great financial institutions. Now, Lester's is a great bank. If given the chance, I can make it even greater.
Mr. Kane, since you are not a member of this board and have no vote, I suggest you leave us with the matter.
Eight to 4, Mr. Kane. You're the new chairman.
Thank you, sir. Thank Thank you very much.
I asked him to let me tell you myself, not because I'm the oldest serving member of the board, but because I didn't vote for you. I voted for Parfit over an outsider. But I want you to know that I'll resign and give you a free hand, Mr. Kane. No worry.
Well, I wish you wouldn't, sir. Give me 6 months, see if I can't change your mind. I need you.
You've got a deal, Mr. Kane. I guess I can stand 6 months of excitement, even at my age.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Bill, congratulations. You pulled it off. I sort of thought you would. Damn fine speech.
I'll accept your resignation before the end of the day.
What? Oh, now, wait a minute, Bill.
Address it to William Kane. You'll receive 2 years severance pay if I don't have your resignation by 5. You're fired.
Oh, William, it's beautiful.
Are we really gonna live here?
Well, that's the general idea.
Why?
Well, for one thing, your father has a very important new job, and it's here in New York.
Look, kids. Your mother and I know how it is. Our moving like this. New schools, having to find new friends, all of it. But the important thing is we're together. Don't you think?
Richard?
Where am I going to play baseball?
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello,
Hello, good evening.
Yes.
Madam Katz.
Your hotel is
Thank you very much. Sir, how do you do? Good evening. Madame,
How do you do?
I would like to present my daughter, Florentine. Big smile.
Yes. Isn't it unbelievable, Uncle George?
Unbelievable.
You really like it? I said I would build this hotel just for you. Florence, you should be in bed now.
Oh.
Come on. You can tell me a bedtime story.
I see you in the morning, Kotku.
Label, you must have half of New York here tonight.
The other half doesn't count.
However, I do have some news about the other half.
Mr. Kane?
The State Banking Commission will approve the merger of Kane Cabot with Leicester Bank at its monthly meeting on Thursday. I don't know yet what the new stock distribution will be, but we know he had to put his 51% of Kane Cabot into the pot. So my guess is that Mr. William Kane will end up with less than 20% of the new combined stock. He's spreading himself thin, Abel.
You know, David, I can see myself getting very interested in bank stocks.
Finally, the moment we have been waiting for, no? Oh, look, don't invest all your money. I'm going to need another 30,000.
Why? What is it for this time?
You do not build hotels by bricks alone, my friend. If the New York Baron opened on time without any labor trouble, I promised a donation to a certain union pension fund.
Yes, but...
Abel, we're not doing anything your competition doesn't do. Believe me, I know. Can't keep Park Avenue waiting.
Well, gentlemen, here's to the merger of Lester Bank and Cain Cabot.
Lester Cain Cabot. Well, I'm grateful to you, Tony, and you, Ted. I couldn't have done it without you.
London, Paris, New York, Boston, and who knows where else by next year.
If that man in the White House stops meddling in the war in Europe.
Henry's bringing the car around now, Tony. He can drop you off on the way to the airport if you like.
Thanks, Kate. Oh, I remember the days when you were both courting in England. Now you're a family.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. It has just been learned that Pearl Harbor and the Hawaiian island of Oahu have been attacked by Japanese air and submarine forces. Carrier-based Japanese aircraft in large numbers carried out an early morning attack on the American fleet and nearby military and naval airfields. The White House has announced that President Roosevelt will address a joint session of Congress tomorrow morning.
President Truman officially announces the end of German resistance.
This is a solemn but glorious hour. I wish that Franklin D. Roosevelt had lived to see this day. General Eisenhower informs me that the forces of Germany have surrendered to the United Nations.
I thought you were terrific, Richard.
Oh, thank you. At least I've got 2 fans.
You'll be the first Cain in history to enter Harvard with a music scholarship and a 400 batting average.
I had to say hello to 1 or 2 friends. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Well, what do you think of our new Pablo Casals? Wasn't he marvelous?
Oh, you were good. Very good.
Thanks.
Can you have dinner with us? Father's counting on it.
Sure.
Richard, I had a talk with the headmaster. He thinks you have a good chance at the math scholarship.
Dad, I was 9th in class in the midterm.
Well, we just have to knuckle down, won't we?
Not right now, all right?
Your grandfather did it, my boy.
And you. Family tradition.
I have to admit, Susan, I'm rather shocked.
Shocked? I find that hard to believe. I mean, you went through the whole war. All those battle scars, a Purple Heart. You come home to be shocked by little Susan Lester.
If I'd had any idea that you wanted to dispose of your stock in the bank, I would have been happy to discuss it with you.
Ample opportunity, William. The war's been over nearly a year. Time does go by, doesn't it?
This isn't like you, Susan.
Damn you, William. How like you to say that. How would you ever know what I'm like? quit crying over it a long time ago. You see, I lost you. Then I lost Matthew. Then Father. It may seem strange to you, William, but I just don't give a damn about this bank anymore. So I sold my stock.
To whom?
What does it matter? I had suitors lined up waiting to buy it. You should have called.
The transaction was actually handled through a consolidated trust in Chicago. But it doesn't really matter. The results are the same. Susan Lester's 6% holdings of stock in the bank now belong to Abel Rosnowski.
You'll have a hard time getting hold of any more.
You know, of course, there is still one large block held by an outsider.
Peter Parfitt's 2%. Now I've had a standing offer to buy it at twice the going price. I went as high as $1.6 million for it. He'll never sell, and not just to me. He's getting too good a return on the stock.
Well, there you are. That's probably why Rosnowski wanted Susan's shares. He knows a good investment when he sees it.
If I thought $1 of the bank's dividends was going into David Osmond's pocket.
Any luck with Parfit?
He just won't sell. I think he looks on his lousy 2% of Lester Kane Cabot as some kind of noose he has got around William Kane's neck.
What about Osborne? Did his tip check out?
Yeah. The new airline certified by the government is Atlantic International Airways, and Kane's bank is the main underwriter.
Start buying Atlantic International stock, all you can get, out of my brokerage account. Mr. Kane is going to get himself partner in the airline business.
Okay, but the new airline could be risky.
Yes, for Mr. Kane.
Fact is, Rosnowski owns 6% of Lester Kane Cabot's stock. He only needs 2% more to demand a seat on the board. Now he's bought 1 million shares of Atlantic International Airways, perhaps more. Why? Sudden interest in our bank, William, and in a company whose stock we've just launched.
Yes?
Jack Thomas to see you.
Send him in. What's it look like, Jack?
Want the worst interpretation?
Why not?
The bank is the majority underwriter of the Atlantic International stock. If the investor you mentioned dumps his 1 million shares into the market, it's likely the fall in price could cost us $5 to $6 million to correct, if it could be corrected.
If?
Atlantic International Airlines is a new company. The aftershocks of a maneuver like that could be a prolonged taint on the stock for investors.
I'm sorry, William. If this is some sort of personal vendetta between you and Rosnowski, I...
Thank you, Jack. Abel Rosnowski still holds me personally responsible for the suicide of Davis Leroy. When Kane Cabot foreclosed on his Richland hotels back in 1930, you remember?
Oh, that simply isn't true. As I recall, you recommended against foreclosure.
I already told him that then.
Why not tell him again?
No! It's out of the question. Besides, it's gone beyond that now.
Look, William, this whole thing has to be costing the Baron a fortune. Who knows, he might be glad to shake hands and get back to building hotels all over the world. William, he lives at the New York Baron. Give him a call.
Settle it. Right now.
50,000.
Yes, 50,000.
I will not pay it.
Then I tell the boys to forget the power line variances. Of course, you'll have to open the Houston Baron in the dark.
I am paying you as a director, my friend, and then some. It is your job to see the lights go on. Now, if you need the money for that, fine. But if I find out you are putting some of it aside in case you don't get re-elected to Congress, the government is supposed to take care of your pension.
Sorry you feel that way. I'm only trying to do my best.
It is William Kane. Says he wants to talk to you.
Mr. William Kane wants to talk to me.
Hello?
Mr. Rosnowski, this is William Kane.
Yes?
Been a long time.
What do you want?
I understand you've become a substantial investor in both Lester Kane Cabot and Atlantic International Airways.
Did I?
I thought it might be to our mutual interest to get together and discuss it.
Mutual interest? I tried to discuss our mutual interest years ago.
Well, I'm sorry, there has been a mistake about that. There's something you should probably know, and I'd like to discuss it with you.
Listen to me, Mr. Kane. I got enough Atlantic International stock to make more trouble for you than you have ever seen. And I am going to get enough of your bank stock so I can walk in there and throw you out myself. Not today. Not tomorrow. I want you to have time to worry what I am going to do. I want you to think about Davis Leroy and how you killed him. Or think about your mother and how you killed her out of greed and spite. And don't tell me you didn't, because I got your stepfather right here next to me. You want to talk? Here is my answer.
That man is insane.
Curtis Fenton at Consolidated Trust must have told him.
I do not think he would do that, Abel.
How else could he know about the stock?
I want you to investigate every deal those two have pulled. Anything, everything you can dig up. Bribes, payoffs, tax evasions, anything. And I don't care what it costs. He mentioned my mother with that bastard in the same room.
I want you to go to Chicago tomorrow. Close every account we got with Consolidated. Everyone.
You should speak to Curtis.
Just do what I tell you. Mr. William Kane is not going to sleep 2 minutes worrying. I am going to break him until they bury him. And I am going to enjoy every minute of it. Let me tell you something to put in that article of yours. We Poles don't give up easily. How can a country that staged a cavalry charge against the might of Nazi tanks ever believe they are beaten? And I promise you, Poland is not beaten now.
Can I say that the building of a Baron Hotel in Warsaw has become the most important goal in your life?
Second, most important. First will always be the happiness of this child, my daughter.
Papa, you can be so corny sometimes.
Forgive.
If you and Miss Rosnowski would please follow me, sir.
Yes. Keep in touch. You hear anything on Atlantic International Airways or Mr. Kane?
Try and have a good time, both of you.
Do widzenia.
Do widzenia.
See you when I get back.
Miss Rosnowski, What will you be doing while your father is opening the Paris hotel?
Standing right next to him, I hope.
But what about European men?
Well, I think they're very attractive. I've been living with one for years.
What is that? Schoolwork?
Heaven forbid.
Good. Because I want us to spend time together.
I asked George to get me some information on the hotels.
Oh, did you? You're taking over pretty young, aren't you? What about?
About the clothing shops in the hotels. You rent them out, and some of them are fine, but if you took them over, upgraded them, gave them their own label and style, they become a sort of fashion trademark for the hotels.
Well, only if we give them all one name. Call them Florentinas.
My name doesn't come cheap.
Anything I can do for you?
No, thank you.
Incidentally, what about men?
I like them.
They're a fast crowd, those Harvard boys, no?
Oh, that's just what the Radcliffe girls say.
Is there anyone special?
Are you asking me if I've become involved?
No, I just wondered.
The answer, Papa, is I'm still very much a virgin.
Florentina.
À gauche, un petit peu. En bas, voilà, c'est parfait, parfait. Alors maintenant, le tapis est épouvantable, les fleurs sont en retard.
Cet après-midi, les fleurs vont arriver.
Yes, like that. À droite, to your right.
Papa?
À droite. Yes,
Are
down.
you ready? You said you'd show me Paris today.
Oh, honey, 10 minutes more, that is all.
Maybe I can show you Paris.
No, I promise. J'ai promis. That's not necessary. Thank you very much. Okay, done.
Monsieur, s'il vous plaît, qu'est-ce que vous avez l'air? Ça fait 2 heures que vous travaillez là. Ah oui, dites-le. I am going. Now, don't forget my philosophy. I never want to see burn that light above. Hein? Je ne veux jamais voir une ampoule crier.
En avant, les vers me frappent et tout mon corps frémit. C'est dans tes rues que je m'échappe, ma chère amante Paris. Quartier latin, Champs-Élysées, ton âme reprend sa vie. Toi qui m'embrasses, ton exilé, ma chère amante Paris. Rive gauche, rive droite, tes plaisirs m'ont séduit. Plein de chaleur après la glace, ma chère amante Paris. Tous les chansons, la foule, les rires, comment te dire merci pour mes amours, mes souvenirs, ma chère amante Paris. Mes amours, mes souvenirs, ma joie, ma vie, ma chère amante Paris.
In appreciation of your contributions to the success of the opening of the Paris Baron last night,
Thank you, Papa. Mwah. What's this?
What?
Oh, Papa. You spoil me. But I love it. Mwah. Oh, we do?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, now, you ready to go home?
Do we have to? Radcliffe's going to seem an awful lot like Radcliffe again.
I meant all they were home. My home.
Holland? When did you hear?
The embassy called this morning. Permission finally came through. We leave tomorrow.
Oh, Papa.
The most beautiful castle in the world. Now you're going to see it was not just one of my stories.
Well, I'm pleased you could get down from school, Richard. You know, it's good for them to get a look at you once in a while.
I always get the feeling they're measuring me to see if I'm as tall as you.
Well, you're getting there. First in your class at Harvard. Right on track. You know, there was a time I was afraid you're going to become a professional cellist.
Or a second baseman.
At least the pay's better.
I was thinking of going on to Harvard Business School after the university.
Richard, the place to learn banking is in a bank.
Well, I suppose so. I just thought I'd explore all the possibilities, you know?
My fondest hope has always been that someday you'll take over here.
Now I am going to show you
Are you sure you're not exaggerating?
the most wonderful castle in the world.
I'll let you know how it compares with Versailles.
Stop.
To jest Leo. This is Leo. Baron is my father.
amantes. This is
Florentina.
This is Florentina.
Hello? Is it important? I'll get him. He's in the next room.
Papa, it's George.
No,
He says it's urgent.
Yes, sir, what is it? What crash? What are you talking about?
Atlantic International Airways. One of their planes crashed en route to Mexico City. Bad weather. 17 people killed.
Start selling my stock. Unload all you can. Get rid of it today. I'll be back tomorrow, day after the latest.
We start dumping 1 million shares, there will be a panic. The stock will not be worth $1 a share.
Yes? Good. I am going to give Mr. William Kane his own personal stock market crash.
Atlantic International is being quoted at 97 cents per share on the market in Chicago.
Fraud things. What else would you call it?
William, only if Rosnowski sold the airline stock in a definite attempt to manipulate the market to his advantage. And we can prove it.
He sold it to manipulate the bank and me. In 2 days, he's driven the price down from 4.5 to less than $1. Jim?
82 cents per share now in Chicago. And damn few buyers. We may have to intervene again.
Stock Exchange Board of Governors respectfully declines. They see no reason to suspend trading in Atlantic International.
The bank is already in the hole for $3 million, trying to prevent the stock from going under.
It's cost me almost as much as that personally.
The board couldn't approve further buying of AIA, William. That would be sending good money after bad.
Tony, are we going to let this man destroy an airline out of some crazy desire for revenge?
Let's pray that it doesn't get that far.
Someone's placed a buy order. 300,000 shares.
Who's the buyer? Did they say who?
Whitewood Investment Corporation.
Who's Whitewood?
Mr. Kane, 250,000 shares bought. Whitewood Investment.
Price is up in Los Angeles to $1.05, $1.25.
A buy order for $1.50.
Whitewood Investment and Abel Rosnowski are one and the same. Think about it.
What did I tell you? Dumps his shares when the price is high. Costs us a fortune trying to support the stock. He comes in and buys back at low, and now when the price goes back up,
Atlantic International just closed at $2 a share in Chicago.
he makes a killing. That's all I need.
In fact, that's exactly what you do need. Mr. Rosnowski has made his first error in judgment. If you sell stock with the sole intention of driving the price down in order to buy back those same shares at the bottom, and then make a killing when the prices go up, you are committing the crime of fraud.
Both know that's not why he did it.
Of course we do. But can you see him standing at an SEC hearing and admitting that he did it for the sole purpose of revenging himself on Lester Kane Cabot?
And its chairman.
You know nothing's cut and dried where the SEC is concerned, William.
The investment.
Certainly not when they see that look of joy on your face.
You blame me?
No, of course not, but I'd rather you weren't in the hearing room.
Okay, I'll wait.
Could take an hour. Or 6 weeks.
I'll wait.
I am hotel man, gentlemen. I like to think what success I have had shows that. I should never have invested in airline business. Never, never, never. Nigdy, nigdy, nigdy. And I probably would not have, except for one thing. I learned that Lester, Kane, Cabot is underwriters. And like everyone in this room, I am sure, I have long heard about financial genius of Mr. William Kane. I had no idea that my name, Baron Hotels, the fact that I was selling, would have the effect on price of stock. It did. And frankly, I think Lester Kane Cabot did a disastrous job of protecting me and all the others who bought Atlantic International when they just floated it on the market.
He's very persuasive.
As soon as I returned, and I saw what was happening to Atlantic International and to all those other investors, I felt that the only thing I could do, certainly only correct thing, was to buy, and quickly, because in another day or two, Atlantic International would be out of business. So I used my own money through Whitewood. That is a very personal, small investment company. Because I did not want to use Baron Hotels. Because I did not want to endanger them any further. That was enough. You can understand that, I'm sure. And therefore, we were able to save Atlantic International from destruction.
With a personal profit of $3 million.
P1, case closed.
Thank you. Thank you for your decision. Thank you.
Papa.
Mr. Kane was right outside.
No. Oh, I would like to have seen his face. Not often Christian eats the lion, and here is he.
He wound up offering to lend the airline any money he made. If it would help save the widows and orphans, you got to invest in it. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. Son of a bitch. William, it's time to realize Rosnovsky is not some pushy immigrant you can put in his place.
I never thought of him as that.
Then why not call off this vendetta?
You tell that to Rosnovsky.
and my stepfather.
Look, William, I really don't give a damn about them. I'm your friend, and I'm concerned what this thing is doing to you.
I'd rather not have anything more to do with this.
William, I'm not quitting on you, if that's what you think. It's simply that I cannot make a convincing case for hatred.
Excuse me.
An eye for an eye.
Until you both end up blind.
You're keeping everything very nice, dear.
Well, I work hard to pass these quarterly inspections of yours.
I'm not sure I understand the nude over the fireplace.
I put her there to remind me that there is life beyond Harvard Business School.
I understand the nude, dear. I just thought she looked a little startled over the fireplace.
I'll move to the library. She could catch up on her reading.
Are you ever going to come and see us again? You can't avoid your father forever.
I just can't act excited anymore when he goes on and on about the bank.
What would you like to do? Maybe I can start pleading your case at breakfast.
I don't know what I'd like to do. I know he thinks I'm still hiding out at Harvard, but I have another year left. I'd like to explore the options. Perhaps it will be the bank, if he'll still have me. I don't know. I feel sorry for him in a way. It's almost as though he never had a choice. Do not stop at jail. Go directly to bank.
Maybe you need the strong hand of a good woman.
Any suggestions?
I'll start looking. Now that I've seen your minimum requirements hanging over the fireplace.
Well, she doesn't have to be a redhead.
To the most beautiful graduate of Radcliffe.
Or any other college, for that matter.
Zdrowie.
Thank you. I'm going to forget you're both prejudiced, just for today.
Now, why don't you just report to work and forget this other foolishness?
Because I don't want people to think Vice President Retail Sales is another bauble you bought me.
I want you here, taking over the boutiques in our hotels. They were your idea. I don't want to wait another year.
The case is closed, Papa. I start Bloomingdale's Monday.
No use arguing with Rosnovsky.
I just don't see what you're going to learn as a ribbon clerk at Bloomingdale's.
I know someone who started as a waiter. It didn't seem to hurt him any. Papa, I need to know what it's like working on the floor, dealing with customers. I'm using a nice assumed Polish name. Jesse Kovic.
Your mother's name.
Abel, it is Osborne on the phone.
Where is he calling from this time?
He says Chicago, but who knows with him?
I'll take it in the other room. Jesse Kovic, I wish you had told me. I bought you a nice American apartment under the name of Florentina Rosnovska.
Oh, Papa.
It's a graduation present.
I don't know what to say. Thank you.
It's just another little bauble. I am so proud of you. Hello.
Abel, I've run into a little trouble, old friend.
I thought I made it clear the last time that it was the last time.
10,000, Abel. 10,000, and we call it square.
No.
Just 10,000. And I swear I never come to you again.
I have paid you enough, more than you are worth. You stopped being of any damned use to me, yourself, anyone, years ago.
Well, if you'd given me the campaign money that I needed, I'd still be in Congress, you know.
You were an embarrassment, David. Even the party hawks couldn't stomach you any longer. Now, you will have to excuse me. I have a graduation party to attend.
Oh, Florentina, right? Beautiful, adorable Florentina.
Our business and
And this conversation is over.
Oh, no. Hey. Just tell Florentina that Uncle David has a graduation present for her. Okay? It's just a little book, about 3 inches thick. It's a record of every dirty deal her daddy and I ever made.
And a few that her daddy doesn't even know we made. 3 inches thick. Names, dates, places.
Think she'd like to visit her daddy in prison? Huh?
Don't you try to blackmail me, mister. If there is anything in there that could send me to prison, you would surely go with me. And you're too much of a coward for that. You have a book. Donate it to library.
Oh, he's here again. He's gorgeous.
You just can't leave me alone. Well, hello again.
Hi.
You've won, you know.
One?
The Glove Customer of the Year award. You can get your prize tonight. My place.
I got a confession.
Oh, I know. Cold hands, warm heart, right?
No, warm heart, cold feet. I've been coming here all week, sort of hoping that she'd wait on me.
You've wounded me. Deeply.
I'm sorry.
You're violating our seniority rules, you know. I've been here 4 years. Jesse's only been here 5 months. I should report you.
Well, could you let me off easy just this once?
Well, you just stick right here and hold that little boy look.
Spring roses, huh?
Yes, most definitely. Yes, hurry up before he gets away.
What?
Mr. Gloves. Can you believe it? I give him the best week of my life and he wants to talk to you. Hurry up before he gets away.
You wanted to talk to me?
Yes, she called you Jesse, right?
Jesse Kovic. Can I help you?
Well,
Yes.
well, I bought every woman I know a pair of gloves. Family, friends, acquaintances. I've even bought gloves for women who I know don't wear gloves. It's your fault. You see, I've been trying to meet you and ask you out to dinner. I was just wondering if you're qualified to counsel customers with problems like this.
You'll have to excuse me.
I'd really like to ask you out. Oh, I'm sorry. Tonight?
No.
Tomorrow?
No.
What about Wednesday?
No, I don't think...
Thursday.
Miss Kovic.
No!
Do you like music?
I play the cello. How's that?
Meet me at the Blue Angel, 8 o'clock tonight.
Okay, is that with or without the cello?
Being here.
And she's here.
Well, it's about time.
Thank you.
Have you made a choice, madam?
fire, we'll be the first ones out. So, you come here often?
Yeah,
Oh. Sure.
you do that quite often, don't you?
Yes.
A daiquiri, please.
Oh, ma'am. So, as I was saying, you come here often?
Once in a while, with Maisie.
Oh, Macy. Oh, she's, quite a girl.
Of course, I don't want you to assume just because Maisie and I arrive together, we necessarily leave together.
Was that obvious?
But then so was I. You see, a girl doesn't like a man to think she's not being constantly pursued.
Well, I wouldn't assume that about you for a minute.
On the other hand, I wouldn't want you to think that I don't leave with Maisie either. You're terrible. I don't even know your name.
I'm sorry, Richard Kane.
Kane, is in the Kane Mutiny?
No, nothing so glamorous. I come from a long line of bankers, not mutineers. Kane with a K. I said something wrong?
No.
Oh, you don't like bankers? Good, that's all right. I'm not a banker. Not yet, at least. As a matter of fact, I have no intention of becoming a banker. The only problem is convincing my father. He seems to think it runs in the genes. Preordained. I keep thinking he cut his teeth on a slide rule. Do you have that problem with your family? Well, you are right, in a sense. I am a Kane mutineer. After 4 generations, one simply jumps ship. Splash. You could tell your folks that I'm an apprentice pirate, but with great prospects. I do plan on meeting your folks, you see. I did not buy 20 pairs of gloves to let you go just after one date.
I suppose you'd return the gloves.
Explain that to your superiors.
Your pirates are ruthless. No, it's late.
Well, that's why they call them nightcaps. Just one?
I'm sorry. It's been very nice meeting you. Thank you.
Oh, there's somebody else.
In a way.
Only in a way? Well, what about tomorrow night?
No, I'm sorry. I can't really.
Never underestimate the tenacity of a man who's been able to corner the entire New York glove market. Friday? Friday for sure.
Unless the world ends Thursday, I guess.
Kiss me goodnight.
No hands. Hands to yourself. I think you'd better go. Your meter's running.
I think you're right.
Cab?
May I help you, sir?
Where's Jessie?
Oh, she's gone completely insane over this tall, sexy Harvard boy. They had to take her away in a straitjacket. But I'm still available.
I do this wild little thing with a scar.
Macy, I'm gonna become violent in a second.
Fantastic.
Oh, she left for home just a sec ago. You can probably catch her.
Thanks.
Oh, Oh, great. Jesse Cover gets Harvard. I get macaroni and cheese and Ed Sullivan.
Jesse!
That cab, follow it.
She lives in that gray building coming up there.
Guess she ain't going home, huh?
You! Just a minute! Richard, what are you doing here?
I'm lost. How about you?
You surprised me.
Well, that's a strange coincidence.
Richard.
I'm also stupid. After all these weeks. No, Richard, don't pick me up. I'll meet you there. I mean, it's a relief. I kept thinking the reason you would let me in all this time, you were ashamed of the
Richard,
plaster falling off the
have
ceiling of your old walk-up.
Will you just give me some kind of signal when you're ready to listen, like catching your breath or something?
Oh, hey. No explanation. How a poor clerk from Bloomingdale's can afford a place like this is your business.
My name is not Jesse Kovic. My name is Florentina Rosnovsky.
Abel Rosnovsky? The Baron. Baron Hotels.
I've wanted to tell you. You know, at first it didn't seem important. I mean, that first night of the Blue Angel, it seemed like some kind of game when I found out that you were the son of William Kane. I didn't know I was going to fall in love with you.
Of all the girls in New York.
All the men in the world, for that matter.
This was my grandmother's. Grandma Kane. I was going to ask you to marry me about 6 hours from now.
I was going to invite you over tonight and tell you everything and try to seduce you. Oh, Richard.
I love you, Jesse.
Florentina.
It's gonna take me some time to get used to that. I love you, Florentina Rosnovsky. There never is gonna be a right time. You know that.
It's just that when I tell Papa who you are,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not even Polish.
Well, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about that.
Can we just wait a little while longer?
Do you think the name Kane is going to sound any different to him a week from now?
And what about your father? I can guess what he's going to say.
You know, maybe we're both wrong.
About us?
About them. Maybe when they hear the good news, they'll forget that they hate each other, at least long enough to congratulate us.
Too optimistic to be a banker anyway.
What astonishes me most, Richard, is that you don't see the unsuitability of this.
I'd say it was the most suitable thing I've ever done.
You could even think of marrying this man's daughter.
I have every respect for your father, except where this feud of yours is concerned.
What would you know about that?
And where
What
my
makes you
life
think you
is
have
concerned.
Okay, would you leave us alone for a minute?
I certainly will not leave you alone. I don't want to have to wipe up the blood.
Well, I don't think it'll come to that. But you're right, it's time you saw where your son's drifting has brought him.
Just because I haven't wanted to be a banker since I was 3.
You see, I wouldn't be surprised if a father's not behind this.
Oh, for God's sake, Dad. If she's told him by now, he's probably ordered me shot on sight.
Have you gotten her pregnant? Is that the reason for this sudden announcement?
If I didn't love you so much,
Oh, I'm not talking about love.
I'm sorry, that's all I've been talking about.
Richard!
You haven't been listening.
Richard! This is no childish mistake you're contemplating here.
Florentina and I were hoping it might end 30 years of hatred between our fathers. I can see now how childish that was.
Richard, we're a family. We can't just turn our backs on each other.
You're determined to marry this girl, despite what I've said?
Yes.
He's never to set foot in this house again, never. Not a cent! Your sister will get it all, that's a promise.
I don't know if you can believe what a relief that is to me, Dad. I never wanted any of it. And I'm not walking out of here with 1 ounce of guilt for not living up to the Kane tradition. I hope Virginia marries up to your expectations, because I'm marrying way beyond mine.
It's very sudden, isn't it?
No, Papa, not really.
Do I know the boy? Have I met him?
No, Papa.
I don't understand. We've always... Why have you been so secretive about him? What is his background? Is he Polish?
No, he's not Polish. He's the son of a banker. His name is Richard Kane.
William Kane's son?
Yes.
You would consider marrying William Kane's son?
Papa, would you meet him?
Meet that man's son? Huh? Do you have any idea what his father did to me? No, you couldn't even begin to know. I forbid you to ever see him again. Do you hear me?
Yes, Papa.
Well?
I love him.
Love. He can put his tail between his legs and trot right back to Boston.
Cambridge.
Abel, why don't we just...
You stay out of this. use your common sense? Please. There are lots of other men. They would give their right arm to marry you. We're going to Edinburgh and come. When you get back, you will have forgotten this. What's his name ever existed.
I'm not going to Edinburgh or Cannes, Papa. I won't be there when you dedicate your new hotels. I am getting married to Richard Kane.
Well, I'm not going to marry any spawn of William Kane.
I'm sorry, Papa, but yes, I am.
Have you slept with him?
Don't remember ever asking you who you sleep with.
Have you slept with him?
Yes.
Oh! Get out. Get out of my sight. I never want to see your face again.
I love you, Papa.
For God's sake, Abel. Without her, what the hell is it all for?
No second thoughts?
A ton of them. Same as you. Where are we going?
As far as we can get. San Francisco.
Good. I'd hate to starve in a place that wasn't pretty.
No joke. I only have a couple $100 to my name.
Rich kid. I got about enough to pay for the cab.
I think you can forget about David Osborne, William. Everybody else has. He's not worth including in these quarterly reports anymore. He's broke. He's in debt to gamblers. He's drinking himself to death. Write him off.
I wrote him off once before. That was a mistake. I should have sent him to prison.
He almost made it recently, on his own. I think the charge was grand larceny, some real estate swindle or something.
What happened? How'd they get off?
The money was repaid. Charges were dropped.
Repaid by whom?
I don't know that for certain.
Rosnovsky?
Probably.
I thought you told me Osborne was off the Baron's payroll.
He is.
There's only one possible reason for Rosnovsky to help him out. He's got something on our friend Abel from when they were working together.
William, does it really matter what Osborne knows or what he doesn't know about the Baron?
Oh, yes, it does. Rosnovsky's still trying to get his hands on enough of the bank stock to start a proxy fight and demand a seat on the board. He's not going to stop unless we stop him.
Okay, I'll follow up on Osborne. He's not an easy man to find. William, have you heard anything from Richard?
I have the Baron to thank for that, too.
Why don't you let your son know how much you miss him?
It's a dump. It shouldn't be renovated. It should be condemned.
Florentina's. I can see it now. The location is perfect.
A midnight mission wouldn't take on a place like this. Are you sure, or are you just crazy?
I married you. Must be, but
We don't even begin to have the money it would take.
I'm not worried. That's your department.
Well, it's just you and me now, baby.
Oh, I forgot to mention.
You want.
Are you calling the rabbit a liar? Oh.
You were right. Rosnovsky put up the money to keep David Osborne from going to jail. $10,000.
Just as I thought. I want whatever it is Osborne's got in the Baron. I don't much care what it costs me.
What do you intend doing with it?
Well, depends what it is.
If it is. You realize you're the last person on Earth that he would sell it to.
If he knows it's me that's buying.
Just saying hypothetically that Osborne has the information. He won't stand up in court unless he is there to testify to it. And that would mean incriminating himself as well as Rosnowski.
Well, he won't have any choice once Abel's indicted, will he?
We've never had to resort to this sort of thing before.
Well, we do now, Thaddeus, believe me.
You know that he is not without friends. There's even talk of his being named ambassador.
Yeah, I know, I heard about that. All the more reason why we should get to Osborne and find out what he's got.
Go out garbage collecting.
Thaddeus, I am in a fight for my life. For my bank. A fight I did not ask for. It will only end when one of us goes under. And I intend to do everything in my power to ensure it is not me.
It's absolutely lovely, Florentina. Thank you. That looks very nice.
Oh, thank you.
Richard deserves most of the credit. He arranged a loan and a line of credit. Kept arguing with the builders long after I would have thrown in the towel. I thought he would be here by now.
I asked him not to. I hope you don't mind.
No, I don't suppose we need a referee, do we? Thank you.
Do you feel all right?
Fine. I feel sick at the appropriate times, you know.
I'm a little jealous. A mother always likes to believe her son is missing something in another woman.
I think Richard misses both his parents. Will Mr. Kane see him?
What does your father say?
Anytime, I'm told. Without Richard. I keep hoping that when Papa sees how well Richard has done and how hard he's worked, he might change his mind. Do you know what I mean?
You mustn't ever blame yourselves or each other.
I guess there's really nothing Richard and I can do.
One thing, try to forgive them. I mean, really forgive them. It's sort of a last resort, an unconditional act of love. I know it sounds foolish. It helps ease the pain.
Mrs. Kane? I think she means me.
Mr. Osborne?
Hmm?
We spoke on the phone this morning.
Oh, yeah? Still don't know you.
I'd prefer to keep it that way.
It's fine by me. I already know too many people.
I have a friend who believes that you might possibly have kept a diary of indiscretions over the years.
Abel. Abel sent you. Told him once I could send him to prison. Now, he told me he thought I was bluffing.
And perhaps you are. Vague reminiscences are one thing. Documented evidence is another matter, isn't it?
Let's get one thing straight right now. I haven't offered to sell you anything, nor have I asked you to buy anything, am I right?
No threats were made or implied.
Okay. Okay, so we're just gonna say that my good old buddy Abel heard that I was just financially strapped again. And he's offered to bail me out. enough for it to be once and for all. All right?
That's the way you wish it to appear.
Well, then, tell me, just what do you think will be the extent of Abel's generosity?
Let's say $10,000.
Nah, you see, that was when I was in just a little bit of trouble. See, now, I plan to travel. And you know, former congressmen always travel first class. Abel should know that. I'll buy yourself a drink.
You know, the Poles and the Irish, we got a lot in common. And not just the church. Both of us know the price you have to pay for freedom. So you tell Senator Kennedy, I got presidential suite reserved for him to watch himself get voted into office.
And you'll be in Chicago Sunday for the rally?
And any place else he thinks I can do some good.
We won't forget it, Baron.
Got it. Maybe. What do you think he was talking about? Okay, the ambassadorship. Could be Bolivia, Paraguay,
Poland.
What is that?
Your grandson.
Sometimes you are too clever for your own good.
Yeah. Well, better than being too dumb.
You know, I think Mrs. Ryan thinks she's a librarian. She keeps returning books to the library.
If she didn't, the bedroom would look like a bookstore. Richard's in town. He's leaving in the morning.
You never know whether she files them under title, author, or color.
They're going to be opening a second store soon in Beverly Hills. Your son's turning out to be a very adroit businessman.
Now, I'm going to rearrange this whole library. Here's Plato's Republic next to Dickens.
When the realtors found out that Florentina was related to the Baron hotels, they tried to double the price. Richard took them the balance sheet from the San Francisco store, showed them it was just starting to make a profit, and they gave in. Dare say he'll be the first businessman to succeed in Beverly Hills by pleading poverty.
What's the baby like?
He's talking a blue streak now. Obviously takes after my side of the family. Florentina's done a marvelous job with your grandson. I don't think I could have handled being a wife, mother, career woman. Can I tell them you'd like to see them?
No, I can't.
You left it a little late.
You're just lucky I saved you from disaster.
There just isn't time.
You knew I wanted mirrors all along there. It's a trademark.
You discussed it with the architect. How was I supposed to
You
know?
were in New York.
Well, that's another thing. Why am I negotiating for store number 3 in New York when we're hardly in the black in San Francisco and we don't know whether we're going to go bankrupt here in Beverly Hills?
We are not going to go bankrupt. We're going to stay right on schedule. San Francisco, Beverly Hills, New York.
London, Paris, Rome.
That's right. You knew that. Losing your nerve?
You want to know?
I want to know.
I think you're trying to see if you can keep up with him. Your father.
Oh, stop it.
I mean it. And what if I don't measure up? What if I don't beat the world?
Would you pull up a sawhorse and sit down here and talk with me? You just don't have a whole lot of experience dealing with young mothers in business, do you?
Oh, you're a mother. We have a child. That's terrific. I almost forgot. By the way, where is he?
At the hotel with your mother. And don't be petulant. I'm the one who should be jealous.
Jealous?
Yes. I sit back in San Francisco and you get to run around and make the dream take shape.
Well, if you wanted to be footloose and fancy-free, you shouldn't have gone to bed with the management.
No, but I'm in love with management. I'm a weak, shameless, ambitious, greedy woman.
Now, I wouldn't have you talking about my wife like that.
I didn't say I wasn't smart, honest, devoted, and adorable.
You forgot impossible.
I'm not trying to prove anything to my father, Richard. This is for us. Even if the world could never see in, I'd want it all. For us. Agreed?
It'll be known as the Sawhorse Treaty of Beverly Hills.
I like that. Now, don't get upset all over again. I'm a stubborn Polish girl. I want mirrors. All along there.
Baron. Senator Willis, how are you? Please, sit down.
I understand congratulations are in order.
Well, thank you. Not official yet, of course.
From what I've heard, it's very official, Mr. Ambassador. You know, I've been in the embassy in Warsaw, and I've stayed in Baron hotels around the world. And very candidly, I think you're making a big mistake.
That is very kind of you. But I still haven't given up hope on Warsaw. Someday, I will have a hotel there, ready for you.
But when you're ambassador, who's going to mind the store? The Baron hotels are a very personal enterprise.
Yes. I am not sure just yet. I had always hoped that... I will have to say. I have to wait and see.
Your attention, please. Your attention, please. All passengers. Flight 712. Now boarding at gate 34.
Baron, did former Congressman Osborne offer bribes on your behalf? Do you regard this as a political move to block your appointment as ambassador to Poland, Baron?
Any New York officials accept or solicit bribes, Baron.
And what was the extent of your business relationship with the former?
Baron Abel Rosnowski seemed shaken as he refused to speak with reporters. Just back from the triumphant opening of the new Baron Hotel in Cairo, he has returned to face charges that his chain of luxury hotels was built on a 30-year program of bribery and corruption of public officials.
The government got its hands on Osborne's precious file. The one he wanted to sell you.
I don't believe it. Is he crazy?
Right now he's behind bars. They arrested him in New Orleans.
You've been indicted by a grand jury on 17 counts of bribery and corruption of public officials in 17 states. The warrant will be served sometime today. I got them to agree to do that part of it up here in private, but the charging will have to be in open court.
How did they get hold of this file?
It was forwarded anonymously.
Anonymous. He didn't even have the guts to put his name on
Let's
it.
not start with William Kane right now.
Kane just cost me an ambassadorship.
The damage is done. Osborne's turned state's evidence. More than likely in exchange for immunity.
Abel, okay to pay 5,000.
No.
Yes.
You can't buy your way out of this, Abel.
You're the best dump lawyer in New York, HT, but this has not got anything to do with the law.
Osborne got well a couple of months ago, paid off his gambling debts, and moved to New Orleans. Someone acting for the law firm of Cohen and Cohen paid him $50,000.
Thaddeus Cohen, Kane's attorney.
Chuyeto knows him, huh? I can smell it whenever that bastard makes a move. Osborne. Can you get to Osborne?
Well, yes.
Tell him he sold his stinking book to William Kane. He won't testify. Not if his life depended on it. Now, you call Mr. Parfit.
Who's Parfit? What does he have to do with the
Wants
case?
to make trouble. I will show him what trouble is. Parfit owns 2% of the stock of the Lester Kane Cabot Bank. It is all I need to throw William Kane the hell out of there. Call him. Say, I am willing to pay any price he wants for the stock. And this time, you let him know why. You told Florentine about this. I know you speak with her all the time, yes?
No, I did not tell her. That should come from you.
She will call. It's only a matter of time. She will call. She will come back.
Here it comes.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it's big enough.
You better eat it all. You're in trouble. Big trouble. Thank you. Eat, kid.
Well, let's see what we have here.
Uh-oh.
All right, Slugger, go get him. Hit one over the fence. Make sure you don't break a window.
It's got you trained.
Yeah, well, I never had a Yankee cap when I was a child.
Poor deprived kid.
Oh, I forgot. There's something for you here.
Me? You romantic devil. Gloves.
Yeah, Mom, try them on.
Okay. I don't know which one of you guys is worse. What you got in here? Is this it?
That's it, lady. You can now walk right up and open the door to Florentina's at Fifth Avenue. Now, easy, lady. You're embarrassing our son here.
Okay.
Florentina Rosnowski? I mean, Mrs. Kane?
Yes.
My name is Pearson, Coastal News Service. I've been asked to get your reactions to the news about your father, Abel Rosnowski, the Baron.
Well, my father has always wanted to serve his adopted country and his native homeland. I think he'll make a very fine ambassador.
Then you haven't heard?
Heard what?
Your father has just been indicted on a long list of charges of fraud and bribery in connection with the Baron Hotels.
Florentina. All right, wait here. You understand? Okay? Florentina.
Stop. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're not going anywhere. I'm not going to allow it.
You won't allow it? He's my father.
Then let him act like one. I'm your husband. I fought for you. We worked hard to get this far, to build a life together, a happy, decent family.
I don't care what your father's done. That doesn't matter. But if he wants you, and if he needs you, he's got to call and ask you. And talk to you like a grown woman.
I wasn't there. Do you understand? It wasn't me. No, you're not listening. I'm trying to say it wasn't me. Understand?
Over there.
I want to talk about it. I've been here. I just want to talk. I've been here so long.
Mr. Osborne?
You're wasting your time, Counselor. You're looking at a man who's seen the light.
Very admirable. Of course, you understand that turning state's evidence hasn't brought you complete immunity.
It's brought me a seat in the lifeboat. I was never a great proponent of women and children first.
I understand that you contend that Mr. Rosnowski paid you the sum of $50,000 for the information which is alleged to incriminate him.
If he wants his money back, it's a little late. I'd like you to tell Abel something from me. You tell him that if he was stupid enough to let that stuff out of his hands, then this is his funeral and he deserves it. But I'm not going with him. Personally, I'd like to break his neck.
Mr. Rosnowski never paid you $1 for any stuff.
If that's the way you want it.
The information which you sold, valid or otherwise, was purchased from you by a member of the law firm of Cohen and Cohen. Perhaps Thaddeus Cohen himself. Thaddeus Cohen is the longtime friend and personal attorney for William Kane. William Kane sent him to you. William Kane put up the money and you fell for it. William Kane has obviously used you to get at my client.
Lie! Hold it up. Lie! Damn! Lie! Hold it up, boys! Hold it!
Mr. Jokes, you've heard the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor. It corresponds to our understanding of the charges.
How does the defendant plead?
Not guilty on all counts, Your Honor, and I'd like to ask for a dismissal at this time.
On what basis, Counselor?
On the basis that the evidence is a complete fabrication concocted by a man who has for years conducted a vendetta against my client.
Mr. Prosecutor, am I right? You intend to introduce witnesses as well as documentary evidence?
We do, Your Honor.
May we approach the bench, Your Honor?
I'm afraid the government has a problem, Your Honor. I've just been told that our principal witness, David Osborne, has taken his own life. Apparently, he hung himself in a cell.
The bribery trial of the famous hotel magnate ended today when the government dropped 12 of the 14 charges against the one-time Polish immigrant. The Baron pleaded guilty on 2 minor complaints and was placed on 6 months probation and fined $50,000 by federal judge Martin Prescott. The government's case was derailed when its star witness David Osborne committed suicide in his cell while in federal custody.
It's Abel Rosnowski.
What do you want?
I am sorry if my call disturbed Mrs. Kane. But under the bylaws of the Lester Kane Cabot Bank, I am required to notify you as chairman that I now own 8% of the bank's stock.
I don't believe you.
Please do call Mr. Parfit. I am sure he will be delighted to confirm the sale to me of his 2% of the stock, along with the 6% Miss Lester sold to me.
They won't do you any good.
I intend invoking Article 7 of the bank's bylaws and demanding a seat on the board. Unless I hear that you have resigned. You stole an ambassadorship from me, Mr. Kane. I intend to take your bank.
It's all right, Kate. It's time I finished it once and for all. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I have been notified by Abel Rosnovsky that he has the required 8% stock ownership in our bank and intends to invoke Article 7 to demand a seat on the board unless I resign as chairman. Okay. He called me at home late last night to make that perfectly clear. I want you to know that I pledge my entire shareholdings of Lester Kane Cabot, whatever money is needed from my private trust, to be placed at the disposal of the bank in order to fight any such move Mr. Rosnovsky makes. So I suggest the first order of business is to discuss whether we should vote to rescind Article 7.
Mr. Chairman, this is no longer a simple matter of
money or stock
or our personal loyalty to you. It is a question of whether this bank should engage its energies and resources in what is clearly a 30-year vendetta between Mr. Rosnovsky and yourself.
I am trying to save my bank.
It is not your bank, Mr. Chairman. And to be frank, your leadership under these circumstances must be very seriously questioned. Mr. Kane, may I ask you a personal question? Mr. Kane, were you in any way involved in supplying information to the Justice Department which resulted in the charges against Abel Rosnovsky?
He was trying to ruin me and this bank.
In the absence of a denial, are we to assume that you did forward a file to the authorities to prompt the federal indictment?
Yes, I did.
Do you realize, Mr. Chairman, that your action has put every member of this board in jeopardy? Our reputations, our careers, everything this bank stands for. The fact that you could, with malice, help initiate federal criminal charges against a major stockholder of this bank is evidence enough, we feel, that you can no longer be relied upon to lead the management of this institution. We have informally agreed to spare you and ourselves the embarrassment of a vote of confidence. I've asked Mr. Leach to prepare a letter of resignation which should meet Mr. Rosnovsky's requirements.
Time flies, doesn't it, Ted?
It sure as hell does, William.
Borrow your pen?
Sure.
Mr. Kane? Mr. Kane! Mr. Kane! Help! Somebody help! Go for a doctor. Mr. Kane.
Just take it easy, Mr. Kane. The ambulance is already here. I'll stay right with you. Now just relax.
Yes, dear, I'm right here.
Miss Richard. Where's my boy?
That's right, Mr. Rosnowski. I have his letter of resignation in my hand. Would you like me to read it to you?
No. I don't want you to read it to me. Just file it. Tell Mr. Parfit his shares will be resold to him. And my remaining 6% will be offered to the bank at the price we agreed upon. What do they think? Is he going to be all right? No. No, that is all. Thank you.
Where are you going?
You know very well where I'm going. Do you want to come along?
No. I got a lot of things to do.
Oh, excuse me. You have got a lot of things to do. Did you throw away the invitation?
Probably. I don't remember. Probably.
Well, I am just a damn immigrant Polak. I cannot afford to throw away invitations to classy affairs. I am not a baron. If I were her, I wouldn't have even sent you one.
I feel fine. I am not an invalid.
And you look fine. But you're going to stay put and relax. Just like the doctor ordered. And don't try to charm me. Save that for Florentine and Richard. I'll bring them both back with me.
And the boy, too. I want to see my grandson.
Oh, you're getting impossible in your old age. Your grandson's in bed. You can see him tomorrow.
Takes a little dying to make a Kane come to his senses.
And there'll be no more talk like that.
I remember the day when I first told Matthew that I'd met the girl that I was going to marry.
I suppose that was long before you told me.
Yes, I recall.
I like you. What did he say?
Well, he said, then your marriage will closely resemble your banking career. Anyone directly involved will only be informed long after you've made your decision. Any regrets?
starting with how long it took you to ask me. I would have married you the first day we met.
Okay.
We'll hurry back.
Thank you. Good night. Okay, Mom. I'm getting set to go home. You ready?
I have been ready for this for oh so long. You two go on up alone. I'll be up in a minute. Go along. He's probably already heard us come in.
Father, I'd like you to meet my wife, Florentina. Father? Father?
you been? I called all over for you yesterday. They said you went to Chicago.
They were right. I flew to Chicago.
What for?
Because Curtis Fenton asked me to.
Curtis Fenton? I thought he was dead.
No, but when he heard that William Kane had died, he thought it was time you saw this. In the event that William Kane precedes Mr. Rosnowski in death, the following confidential information is to be forwarded to Abel Rosnowski without delay.
No! The original $2 million to save the old Richland hotels. I always thought it was David Maxton of Stevens Hotel. And it was William Kane. William Kane gave me the money. He considered me good investment. A clause of his trust was never to reveal the source of the money. He considered me a good investment. He's a banker to the end. Fool. We could even have been friends.
Lord, thou hast been our refuge from one generation to another. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever the earth and the world were made, thou art God from everlasting, and world without end. Thou turnest man back to the dust, and thou sayest, return, ye children of men. For 1,000 years in thy sight are but as yesterday when it is past, and as a watch in the night. Thou carriest them away as with a flood, and they are even as asleep. In the morning they are like grass that groweth up. In the morning it is green and groweth up, but in the evening it is cut down and withered.
Papa? Papa!
Uchise, Alt Genchaigo Sina. It was my late father's final wish that I dedicate this, the last of his great hotels, to the spirit of the people of Poland. It was his lifelong dream that he leave his mark on the land of his birth. In his memory, I dedicate the Warsaw Baron to the people of Poland in the name of his grandson, William Abel Kane.